Let me give you one more example of the ego versus the higher self. Now, imagine a car where the higher self is the driver and the ego is the passenger. Now, the ego is great at looking at maps, pointing out potential road hazards, and even reminding you to get gas. But when the ego tries to grab the steering wheel, the car starts swerving because it's driving based off fear rather than the destination. When you feel a strong emotion, ask yourself, who is feeling this right now? The higher self or the ego? If you hear a voice in your head saying, they disrespected me, I have to get them back, that's the ego fighting to keep its narrative of importance alive. Now, if you were to take a deep breath and think, I feel hurt, but I wonder what pain they're carrying to make them act that way, you've shifted into your higher self. Here are a couple of more practices you can use to transmute the ego. This is called the welcome to the table technique. When you feel a low vibrational ego narrative arising, like jealousy or the need to be right, mentally tell yourself, I see you, jealousy, fear, anger, etc., and you're welcome to be here. By welcoming it, you stop being the victim of the emotion, start becoming the host. The heat of your non-judgmental awareness begins to melt the ego's grip over your experience called life. Now, here's another technique called the physical pattern disruptor technique. The moment you notice the ego snacking on your energy, change your physical state immediately. If you're sitting down, stand up. If you're indoors, step outside. This breaks the biofeedback loop. By moving the body, you force the brain to reallocate energy from the narrative center to the sensory center. All right, the last practice is called the third person narrative technique. The ego thrives on words like I, me, my, because it makes everything personal. Narrate your ego's drama in third person. Instead of thinking I am so frustrated, they ignore my text. Say to yourself, the ego is feeling ashamed and is creating a story of lack of respect. This shifts you from the participant to the observer of your life. It turns what might be perceived as a crisis into data. With that being said, family, do you have control over your life, or is the ego creating false narratives for you to experience? Like and comment what practice you use and how it impacted you. Peace, family.